Okay, and I'm back. We are going to revise what is a sequence. Sequence is the order of the events in the story from the beginning to the end. And we can watch out for the time order clue words that can help us organize the story in the correct sequence. The time clue words are first, next, then, last. Remember, we did the worksheets and we did also the pages in the book when we were reading the story about the raisins. Remember the raisins? How the raisins are made? And fossils, how the fossils are made in the class. We read a story about the fossils and we organized it in the sequence. And you had the homework about the boy who wanted a kite. And he traded his his marbles, I think, for the stamps or stickers, I don't remember. And then he got his kite. George, I think that was the name of the boy. That was also the story with a sequence. So remember what is a sequence? Sequence is the order of events in the story from the beginning to the end. And when you're doing the sequence, you should watch out for the time clue words. Now we are going to watch the video again. That video will help you understand the sequence a little bit, sequencing, because sequence is also important when you're retelling the story. When your mom will ask you, what was the story about? You have to tell the story in the correct sequence. I'm going to do the sequence through the story, the crow, and the pitcher. Maybe you know the story. Now we have a story. Look at the crow. Here, the crow drops the pebbles in the. Oh, okay. First, you see, the crow found a pitcher with water, but she could not get the water from the pitcher. She could not get the water from the pitcher. That's an event that happened first. The thirsty crow found the pitcher but couldn't get the water from inside. So, what did the crow do? She dropped the pebbles, the stones inside the pitcher. And that is the event number 2. What did she do next? She put the small stones in the pitcher. And what happened last? The last, as she put the stones inside the pitcher, the water rose higher and higher, and the crow was able to drink the water. She was not thirsty anymore. That is the event number 3. The crow could drink now. So, what happened first? We're going to tell the story from the beginning. First, a thirsty crow found a pitcher full of water, but she couldn't drink. Next, the crow dropped some small stones into the pitcher, and the water rose higher and higher. And finally, or at last, the crow could drink. The crow was not thirsty anymore. This is called sequencing. How do we tell events in the story in the right order? From the beginning to the end. So, when you want to retell, first you think what happened at the beginning of the story. Then you think what happened in the middle of the story. And last, you will think what happened at the end of the story. And this is the way how you will sequence the story. But some stories are a little bit longer. So when you have stories that are a little bit longer, like this one, and if you will go to grade 3 and 4, I will give you really, really long stories. You will have to organize the details by reading the story and sentences one by one, because sometimes you will not even find the clue words in the text. Sometimes you will have to follow the story from sentence to another sentence and then organize it in the correct sequence. So let's go and read. First, frogs lay eggs in the water. Next, tadpoles swim out of the eggs. Tadpoles look like fish with long tails. Then the tadpoles grow back legs and front legs. They are now baby frogs called froglets. Finally, after they grow a little more, they are adult frogs. Okay, so what we will do, we read it one more time and circle the clue words, the time order clue words. First, frogs lay eggs in the water. What happens first? Say it loud. Frogs lay eggs in the water. That happens first. What do the frogs do first? Frogs lay eggs in the water. Next, tadpoles swim out of the eggs. What happens next? Tadpoles swim out of the eggs. So first, frogs lay eggs. Next, tadpoles come out of the eggs. Tadpoles look like fish with long tails. Then the tadpoles grow back legs and front legs. What happened to the tadpoles then? They grow back legs and front legs. So let's go from the beginning. What happens first? Frogs lay eggs in the water. What happens next? Tadpoles come out from the eggs. What happened then? Tadpoles grow back legs and front legs. They are now baby frogs called froglets. And finally, what happens the last? After they grow a little more, they are adult frogs. So what happens last at the end? The tadpole grows and they become adult frogs. So please remember all of the details. Now we're going to order them from 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the correct sequence. The tadpoles grow back and front legs. Frogs lay eggs in the water. The froglet becomes an adult frog. Tadpoles swim out of the eggs. Which of these events happened first? You can think about it and use your mind, or you can go to the story. What does it say here? First, frogs lay eggs in the water. So where is this detail? Right here. So that will be number 1. What happens next after the frog lay eggs in the water? What happens next? What is your answer? Yeah, the tadpoles swim out of the eggs. Right here. The tadpoles swim out of the eggs. That is the event number 2. What happens next after the tadpoles swim out of the eggs? Are they going to grow back and front legs, or are they going to become an adult frog? Yes, they are going to grow back and front legs. That is the event number 3. And what is the last event that happens at the end? They become the adult frogs. The tadpole or froglet becomes an adult frog. And this is what we call a sequence. What means sequence? Sequence means to put the events of the story in the correct order. You can use the time clue words to help you organize the events of the story into correct sequence. First, next, then, last, finally. These are the time order clue words. Sometimes you will not find them in the text. If that happens, then you have to follow sentence by sentence and organize the story in the correct order. That's it. Now we're going to the author's purpose. What is the author's purpose? Author is the person who writes the story, and the purpose is the reason why the author writes the story. You know, people write the stories, right? And why they write the books? Why they write the stories? Just because they are bored? No, they need to have the reason why they do that. And here are the three main reasons why the authors write the story. It's an easy as a pie because pie is the cake like this, pie. And pie is also short for the three reasons of the author's purpose: persuade, inform, and entertain. Yeah, it's an easy as a pie. Remember, author's purpose is an easy as a pie because the first beginning letters are showing us the most important reasons why the authors write the story: to persuade, to inform, and to entertain. I will explain now one by one. When author writes a story to persuade you, he is trying to convince you. He is trying to make the reader to do something or believe something is right or wrong. And when the author is persuading you, he is using this word, should, like you should study English language really hard. It is very important because with English language you can get anywhere. So the author is trying to persuade you. He is trying to convince you. Other clue words is also could or best. The best thing to do is to take the summer vacation to France. France is the best place to visit. You should go to France if you want to see the Eiffel Tower. That is persuading. The author is trying to convince me to do something. Inform is another reason why the authors write the story. Like we had a story, Life Cycle of a Pumpkin. That was the story that was informing us. It has lots of information and lots of facts. When the story is, or when the author is providing us with lots of information and lots of facts in the story, he is writing the story to inform us. From the stories like this, we learn lots of new things. So that is the second reason, to inform. And the last one is to entertain. If the story is nice, funny, scary, sometimes sad, the author is trying to entertain us with that story. The reader reads the story just because he enjoys reading that story. And the story that is entertaining has the setting, a place where something happens, and the characters acting in the story. So these are the three main reasons why the author writes the story: to persuade you, to entertain you, and to inform you. Now we are going to practice. Let's see. A bird is an animal that has feathers and wings. There are about 9,700 kinds of birds. About half of all bird species are songbirds. They can make both calls and songs with their voices. What is the author purpose for this story? A bird is an animal that has feathers and wings. There are about 9,700 kinds of birds. Did you know that? Did you know that there are 9,700 kinds of birds? And did you know that about half of all bird species are songbirds? That means they are singing songs and they can make both call and songs with their voices. Did you know that? I'm sure you didn't know that. That means the author informed you. He gave you new kinds of facts and information, right? So the author wrote this story to inform you. Let's practice with this story. Once upon a time, there was a princess trapped in a castle. She could not get out. Someone had to come and save her. One day, a prince showed up in front of the castle. "I will save you, princess," he said. "But first, I have to fight the dragon." Okay, so what is the author purpose for writing this story? It's a story that has the characters and the setting, the castle. The princess and the prince are the characters, and there is a scary dragon. Is the prince going to save the princess? I will read the story until the end because I want to know what will happen. I will enjoy this story. The story is written to entertain you. Next one. Everyone's favorite subject in school should be reading. You will need to know how to read maps, different signs, and other things. Make sure that reading is your favorite subject. What do you think? What is the author purpose for writing this story? To persuade, to entertain, or to inform? Yes, it is to persuade. Can you see the clue word should? If you see the clue word should, it is the persuasive story. It was a beautiful morning in Alabama. The sun was shining through the trees. Alan couldn't wait to find his fishing pole and call his friend Sam to go fishing. They had a great time on their fishing trips. They took their dogs with them. What is the author's purpose for writing this story? Is this story persuading us to do something? Is this story informing us about something? Or is the story entertaining? What do you think? What is the author's purpose? To persuade, inform, or entertain? It is to entertain because the story has the characters and the setting. In Tarpon Springs, Florida, there are people who work underwater. These people are called sponge divers. The kind of treasure they look for is called sponges. Sponge diving is not an easy job. The diver has to breathe under the water and be careful of extreme water pressure. What do you think? The author wrote this story. Why? Why? Did he want to persuade you to go diving? Or did he want to inform you about this kind of a job? Or did he want to entertain you with a funny story or a nice story? Is it to persuade, inform, or entertain? It is to inform. Did you hear about this kind of divers? People who dive underwater, we call them sponge divers. I didn't. So I've learned something new. I learned something, and that means I got new information from the story. And that means the author wrote the story to inform us. Everyone should have a pet dog. They are the best animals. Dogs provide friendship and love every day. Why did the author write this story? Did he try to persuade you, or inform you, or entertain you? He wrote the story to persuade us. Yes, there is a clue word should and clue word best. The author tried to convince us to get a dog. So that's it. That's it for today. Did you understand these lessons, sequence, and also author's purpose? I hope so. I will send you the worksheet on Thursday. But if you need more time, if you want a weekend, you can take also the weekend to complete the worksheet, and then you can send it to Miss Farah. I will see the answers. I will check your worksheets like I always do when you send the worksheet. So please be so kind. And the worksheets that I will send on Thursday, the reading comprehension worksheets, please complete them and send them to Miss Farah through WhatsApp. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so for working hard with me through these videos. I hope that you've learned something. I hope you understood all of the lessons. And if you didn't, then watch the videos again. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.